And the thing is, for me, I live near George Mason, and
Mhm.
so before Jim Larrañaga went to Miami, he was at George Mason for a long time.
Right.
And I mean, I was surprised he went to Miami when he got that job, but I mean, I knew that once he got there, Miami was going to have some good years, they were going to have some bad years, but just the coach that he is, they were going to be competitive every year. And I mean, you see that they are still competitive when other people would have looked at them like, oh, they're not going to do very well this year. Then you're watching it, it's like, oh, wow, they're still making strides.
Well, and I think the other thing that surprised people about Jim Larrañaga leaving George Mason and going to Miami, he was not a young man
Nope.
at the time of leaving. So I think a lot of people felt probably like he was just going to finish up at at George Mason, which I honestly don't think would have been a bad deal at all. I mean, Larrañaga took that George Mason team to a Final Four. They were a true
Mhm.
Cinderella. I mean, he's there for almost 15 years, I think 14, heads to Miami in 2011, born in 1949. So again, you look by the time he went to Miami, he's 62 years old.
Mhm. Yeah, no, he is. When he was at George Mason, basically they would be in the tournament almost every year. It was just kind of like, okay, well, let's just see how he's going to do it. And the one year when they made the tournament, or one of the years, they had to play Georgetown.
Yep.
And I remember because Craig Escher was a coach there, and Georgetown did win, but there was no love lost after that game.
Yeah, and I mean, if you go back further, I mean, Larrañaga had been an assistant at Virginia from 1979 to 1986, and anybody that knows basketball and maybe who is one of the greatest college basketball players of all time, his name is Ralph Sampson, and Ralph Sampson
Hmm.
was at UVA in that time frame. Larrañaga is a northeastern guy, but the last time I checked my map, Miami, Florida is not in the Northeast. And that was the farthest south he had gone. So yeah, I think you hit on a great point right there. I mean, most people, unless you're a snowbird and you're going to retire to Miami, that's one thing. But to leave and at the age of 62 to try out a new job in a part of the land that you never have been a head coach at, yeah, that's different, challenging, and hey, kudos because it's worked out for him.
No doubt about that.
The Top 25 Rundown. Every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Here on the Sportscast.